Hello developers. So first of all, before I start this video, I just want to say that I have a Udemy course right now for Alpine.js. If you like these Alpine videos, then I recommend you to enroll in my Alpine JS course. I already have over 6,000 students. Link is in the description, and also I want to thank you for all the support that some of you have been showing me. So let's get back into the video now. Welcome to our Alpine.js course. So first of all, we're going to go through how to install and set up Alpine so you have the correct environment in order to take this course. So first of all, you need to install VS Code. So let's go to the VS Code website, and so just search on Google VS Code, download, and then you will get the first link, which should be the Visual Studio Code website, and you have the options over here to download it. So depending on your operating system, in our case we use Mac, so we'll be using the Mac Visual Studio Code application, and you can choose the one that is specific to your operating system. Once you have done that, we can go ahead and then set up Alpine.js. So setting up Alpine.js for your web application is very easy. All you have to do is include the script tag with the following link, and that should basically use the CDN, uses Alpine JS CDN, and it will allow you to use the Alpine JS framework. So in this case, we're going to be using Scrimba to do the first section of the course, which is going through the documentation and the main fundamentals of Alpine.js. Once we have finished with that, then we will proceed on to real-world applications. So after we have loaded the CDN for Alpine, let's go ahead and make sure that it works by testing it. So inside the body tag, let's have a h1 tag, and we will use xdata to basically have a variable which will store a string. So this variable will store a string. We'll call this variable message, and for the string we will say I love Alpine, for example. And then after that, let's go ahead and print out this message inside the h1. So we're going to use xtext, and we're going to use this message. So let's run this, and that should work. So as you can see, that means we have successfully loaded Alpine CDN into our application, and we were able to use Alpine. So now let's go ahead and discuss all the functionalities of Alpine. Okay, so the first topic we're going to be covering is the state in Alpine.js. So we're going to talk about the local state first of all. So we're going to have xdata. Xdata is an attribute that holds the state, the local state. So any element inside this div will have access to the open variable in the state. So let's go to Scrimba so we can show you some examples. And as you can see over here, we have this xdata message, and we made this message variable in this local state as is equal to I love you Alpine, and we can use that message in the xtext. Now we can basically modify this, so we can basically do hello world, and as you can see, now the hello world is displayed in our browser. So data is nestable in Alpine. So for example, if we have like two elements inside a div, and those two elements, so if those two elements are attached to the data, we can access the parent's data. So for example, let's have two spans, and let's have so for the div and the parent div, let's give it a data of label, and that label is content, so a variable in that state, in its local state. We'll call it label, and we'll initialize it to the string, which is content, and we're going to wrap it again with a div. So this div, we're going to wrap it again with a div, and we're going to have a variable called open. And for this open, we'll make it false. So now we're going to display the so for the first span, we're going to do label, xtext is label, and for the second span, we're going to do xshow is equal to open. So we show this second span if the open is true. and if we save, run it, okay, so as you can see, open is false, so therefore the second span wouldn't show, and the first one shows the content of label, which is content. So basically, and if we change open to true, then the second span would also show. So if we save this, if we run it, as you can see, now we have content header. So just to summarize, this shows that even though we have a div inside so we have the first div that has open true, and inside it we have another div which is label is content. We can, even though the span is inside the div that has label content, we can still access the open variable in the first in the root of in the parent of the label div. So that shows that we can nest data and we can actually access it this way.